Hey there, guys, it's me, Stormy, and I am doing this live chat tonight. And hopefully, um, if you see anything weird in the background, just disregard that because I'm still just working on it. But I wanted to go ahead and do this so we can definitely get the video up for tonight and have a little bit of conversation about the impact of the nodes on the business of the Trump and Comey situation. It was kind of a hot little mess there, isn't it? However, I think it's absolutely fascinating as well because what ultimately I think we get to see as we're looking at the impact of the node. Now, the North Node moving into the sign of Leo. Remember, I talked about this in the video yesterday, and if you didn't catch that, just click on over, you can check it out. But the North Node moving into the sign of Leo had the type of impact that says, show me, bring it out, bring it to the surface, right? Like do something, right? And it's about celebrating your uniqueness, and it's about bringing something that you're actually very talented at, or something that maybe even you're driven by. Underneath the surface of things, you're driven in, and you're going to show something to the world. So considering the fact that Donald Trump's ascendant sits right there in Leo at 29 degrees, right? We know that he, being affected by this node, moving into that really, really brilliant placement, he was going to show us something yesterday. Now, of course, depending on who, what, when, where, and why, we could have seen anything, but he was going to take some kind of action to show us who he is and to show us what he is about. Now, I want to be super clear. I am not a political person. I would prefer to not talk about politics as often as possible, as a matter of fact. And I am neither endorsing or opposing Donald Trump in any way, shape, or form. But let's just talk about what some of this means. Now, really, phenomenally, it's astrologically a miracle that he was elected, right? Really, myself, other astrologers, you guys, we talked about it around election time very subtly on this channel, not very out loud, but very subtly, that it was like, yeah, this is just going to be interesting. But we knew that Uranus's demands for do something different, break tradition, let's unroot and unrest some things, was going to probably put him in there realistically. Hillary was just too much of the same, and Uranus is like, I'm not about that noise. Let's get something going over here because we need to break tradition so that we can get ready to set some new solid structures and new innovative ways to do things in the world. So we knew for sure that probably he was going to end up in there, but it's just pretty much amazing anyways. But considering all of that business, the thing that really kind of rock'em sock'ems for me when I'm thinking about this North Node transition is that not so much that it is in Leo. That is important. That is significant. That is going to make an impact on what else he's going to show us over the next handful of months. Because remember, the node is actually here for about 18 months. And I don't even think it's going to take that long. We're going to have something much bigger and much more significant happen before then. But the fact that the North Node was coming out of Virgo and into Leo, with that North Node being in Virgo, Virgo is like, yeah, let's do this. Let's be spectacular about it, right? Let's do a really quality job, but let's do it quietly. We don't need to be so showy, right? So I feel like this combination of energies that moves, that made yesterday so significant with that North Node movement, is the fact that it was coming out of Virgo, moving into Leo. Leo wants to show, Virgo says, fine, show whatever you want, but don't be arrogant about it, right? Like, don't be too extra, right? Have some humility about it, because Virgo is service minded, right? Virgo is for, it is how I give to you. When I give in service, I give to you and I expect nothing in return. I just can give, right? And so Virgo actually has that quality. Now, the other quality I think about that Virgo energy bringing in, or coming in, yesterday, is that Virgo is very concerned about health, right? Like, let's have health in our lives. And when we're in Leo, Leo's like, I'm fabulous. I don't necessarily care about my health. I'm fabulous. I like it. It makes me feel good. So we have this kind of contradictory energy. But as this North Node moved into Leo, moved into Donald Trump's ascendant, we came in this space where he was going to show us something. And if he did not learn and use those lessons that Virgo North Node energy gave, he was, of course, not going to show up in a way that was humble, not show up in a way that was service for all. He was going to show up in a way that is about, I'm going to show you me because it's about me. And he was going to do it in likely a very big, dramatic way. That's the energy of Leo, right? So the other thing that becomes very significant when we look at the tie back but moving forward of all of this is that we've got this North Node over here on his ascendant right there in Leo as well. Now when we move into August, we are also going to have an eclipse, right? The eclipses are these big like energies that course correct us, they shift us, they bring about a huge change, like a folding over or a letting go in some way, shape, or form. So when we have this eclipse, it is going to be, of course, right here in Leo, around and within all of this North Node energy. Yep, he does have Mars in Leo as well. So, but we'll get to that because we're going to get good. But I see you, Portia, just so you know. So we're going to see this eclipse right here in the North Node in the ascendant. So it's going to change. He is going to change and shift in some way, shape, or form. Now, depending on which perspective you're coming from, some people really say that this is the fall, right? Like our presentation, that ascendant will fall in this energy, especially if it's not being used in a humble kind of way that Virgo energy pulled in. So some people will say it's the fall. I am willing to commit to saying this will be a huge shift for him. Now, some other things though that give me some strong indicators that this shift is going to be huge, and that we will, as you know, a country also be, and really as a world, but as a country be on board with whatever this changes as well, is because he's our president right now, like it or not. He is the elected official that is up there right now. So we will be involved in whatever this changes, but it's going to be significant. And right behind that, we see some other planets start to make some actions and connections that tell us that not only is there an action that takes a mind shift, because then we're going to see Mars come conjunct his ascendant, right? And then we've got that North Node energy in there. So what does Mars do? Mars is aggressive. He's assertive. He's about that life. He's going to take action. Hi from Central Texas. He's going to move and push something forward because Mars is now going to be in the action space of the ascendant. And with the ascendant, right, that's how we are in the outside. That's what we're doing. It's how we're going to manifest things. And Mars is going to get in there and say, shoo, do something. Shoo. Show something else, right? Like, show us what you got. Show us what you're working with. I can't believe I said that. So anyway, so Mars is going to do that. And then as we start to move out of August and we move into September, what do we see? We see the decision making, the thinking, the communication planet Mercury also move into this energy. So now we've got a whole lot of energy happening around this very significant destiny type of node, right? Now keep in mind too that the nodes are not planets or anything. They are karmic points. They are mathematical points that hold a very specific, hi guys, they hold a very important, significant karmic or destiny, we believe, energy in them. So when we look backwards, we're like, okay, we had these nodes who do not shift signs or move very often make a shift yesterday. So now we know we're hitting a new point of destiny. It's exact on the energies and conjunctions in his ascendant and his chart. So we know that something very big, very karmic, and very destined to happen has kicked in. And it all comes from this North Node move that happened yesterday. Now, how it's going to play out, I'm telling you, depends a lot on how much he started to understand that North Node in Virgo, that humility. And as we have seen, we have not seen a humble leader come to the table yet, right? Now, humble also does not mean subservient, right? Donald Trump could be out there and he could be a humble hustler, right? But that's not what he brought. Instead, what he brought was, he brought a businessman. He brought a, you're fired. And so what did he do? We get this destiny move happening. He's like, Comey, it's your day, buddy. You're out of here. So isn't that kind of interesting? Because now that destiny move right there has set trains of circumstances in motion. Now the fallout from the Comey fire, that sounds like it's a fire out there, but firing Comey is going to, I kid you not. I'm clicking over super quickly. I want to look at the top of his chart real quick because I made a note here. But I kid you not. Something legal will come from this, right? He's got Uranus up there in the top part of his chart in Aries, right there. It's up in the 9th house. So one of two things I think come from this. One, he gets some massively new education, right? Like he gets a rerouting of the faith, of the philosophies that he's had. And we know that he's getting a different philosophy because he said himself, I thought being president would be easier. Well, welcome to running the free world, right? But this is also a legal space. So something from this, because not too many more big name people are going to put up with his shenanigans before some legal indication or action is going to be taken, right? So I really think we've got some legal things coming as well. But what it also will do is it will put pressure on things international and things foreign starting to look a lot different. So this one little movement that is really, we think about it, the nodes are not even actually planets or anything. So it's just a destiny point. And right there, we had a significant boom kind of happen. And now we're going to get to watch all of this stuff play out. And I'm telling you, August, September, end of August, September, I think we can start to see some kind of significant shift. Maybe he's making his way out, but I feel like in some way, shape, or form, this leader is so transformed that something significant happens to move it along. I am just not willing to 100% get behind impeachment, any of this stuff. It will be a significant change to the way this man is presenting himself out in the world. Could this mean that he has such a terribly significant change of heart because something happens with the leadership of the worlds and it changes him so significantly? Does it mean that he goes on ahead and gets caught up in something legal, like somebody finally finds a way to loophole him into something that pulls him into the democratic process and we say we don't want that anymore, right? Like, so it can be really interesting to see what happens. Now, I will tell you too, from looking at his chart, give me 2 seconds, I'm popping back in here. From looking at his chart too, one of the other things that I was thinking a lot about in having the eclipse zone and the eclipse time that we're going to have, one of the eclipses we're also going to have is going to obviously be in Aquarius. Now, his part of fortune sits in Aquarius, and people think part of fortune, oh, this is going to be great, this is going to be really good. I tend to look at the part of fortune when I look at somebody's chart as something really hard. They're going to have to really work really hard with this. And so one of the things I think could be happening right there is in some kind of social zone, whether it be that we have one of these magic miracle moments where all of America finally bands together and we're like, we got to get this guy out of here, right? Whether it be something social like that, or that he does something that puts him on social media in some way that absolutely leads to a phrase, or it leads to a something that actually contributes to more of this fallout. Now, what exactly that looks like, I would tell you guys, watch the news, watch these social things, because a lot of the social broadcasting places are going to be covering this. Independent broadcasters like YouTubers and other astrologers will be covering this. But I'm telling you, he does something significant at this time, around that August time frame, that gets in the social zone that starts to look like him getting ready to go out in one way or another. Because sometimes as people, we have to die off so a different version of ourselves can live. And other times it's we fall away from a job or a duty or something like that, because that's the other thing I think of with having that Aquarius energy there and that part of fortune there in the 6th house, 7th house right there for him. He could be leaving a job, right? Like we could be ending a job. So not fully willing to commit to the fact he is a Twitter gangster. That is 100%, and I want to say this like I said, I don't endorse or I don't oppose him because I stay neutral because I would love to be in love with everybody, and politics can just seriously separate us, and I'm not about that noise. But I will say the one thing he has done when he came in is that he has been him, right? We are always talking about be your authentic self. He has been his authentic self, whether or not we like it, right? And dang, didn't Uranus clean up with this one? Uranus is like, hold on, I'm about to throw you something really different, which is significant because we needed such a shakeup that it looks like a big old mess so that going forward we can actually turn this whole shenanigans into a message that shows us what we don't want. Now, the other thing that he is doing, like it or not, is that the help of Uranus has put this big show me guy out there in a position to start cleaning house, right? Haven't we cleaned house? In one way or another, we've got secrets coming out of the wazoo because Uranus has shaken our foundation. Now, the Pluto-Uranus square, oh my gosh, don't even get me started on that. That was, okay, we've got a new world order coming in, but first, before we can have this new world order, we have to shift our vibration as a whole. And how do we shift our vibration? The first thing you got to do is we got to root out. We have to weed out, but we've got to pull that stuff from the roots. There's no point in trying to do any, spiritual gardening if you're just going to trim your tree so that it looks good. Your tree's still going to be dying from the roots. So, for the United States, and really I think for the world very significantly, this has been a shake out from the roots kind of process. And who better than to shake stuff out than Mr. You're fired? Okay, I'm not saying what he did was right or what was wrong, but he sure did come in and he brought his authentic self and started firing people. And that happened, and we're going to see a shift because of that. So, now, I'm going to tell you too. No, I'm not going to tell you because that's actually going to cause a problem. I'm going to cause a problem right there. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap it up at that because I got a lot more that I could just really, really go to. Oh, hold on. Who's saying this? This is Trend Educational Resources, New World Order. I want to address that real quick. In terms of spirituality, the New World Order, I'm not talking about anything oppressive, and I don't think any other astrologer or healer is talking about anything oppressive. We're talking about the fact that when Pluto and Uranus come around and they square off with each other, we have revolution. Our entire world has to come to new levels of acceptance of new things. But that happens because we as a people and as a society start to shift and start to say, yes, we're going to recognize and acknowledge new norms. It doesn't mean that we support or condone them. It means we have acceptance around them. Now, we have seen some things, have we not? Since this, let's back up from the nodes for a minute. Let's look at this Pluto-Uranus square that we had, okay? Did we not start to accept some different things? Wasn't our Woman of the Year a man who turned into a woman? That's a brand new thing, right? Caitlyn Jenner. We think that this is small and that it's no big deal. It is. It shows a different level of social, societal acceptance that we did not have before. It might have been there, but we really didn't have it. We are in a very revolutionary rebellion, and I support rebellion like a mofo because rebellion means I fight my inner demons. I don't give a shit about revolution, right? Whatever, that's going to change. Progress is going to happen. But internal revolution or internal rebellion, that's where we fight our own demons so that we can come to that next level of vibration and that next level of progressive living. So we've seen that, have we not? Yeah, absolutely. And there is so many more little instances of things. I want to tell you something that I think is really significant. And I did a small video on it, nothing too big because I was a little scared then, but I'm not now. Ashley Madison. The Ashley Madison business was significant, right? It brought to the surface that there is sexuality happening out there, and it is not always in the society accepted traditional sense. I really feel like that was significant as well. We see these things out in like the tabloids and things like that, and we think, oh, that's just shady people doing bad things, or people doing, and that's very much so in quote, bad things, or people doing behind the scenes things. Well, that's what Pluto Uranus was going to do. Anything that's been happening behind the scenes, boom, it's It's going to weed those out. It's going to bring it to the surface and shed a lot of light. Then we look at the node movement. We've got destiny tracks happening, and we, more than just Trump, we have other leaders and in positions, and we have other significant people who also will be making destiny moves regarding our government and regarding our society around that North Node mood. But then we get and welcome in these eclipses, and then we have Mercury coming direct at that North Node energy. Boy, are we going to change our minds about some things. It's very exciting, you guys. We're waking up. Okay, we know we're waking up, because the thing I think is significant about the world as a whole that all of these shifts have brought is that it's brought people back to a place of a quiet, creative, spiritual place, right? And even if it doesn't seem spiritual, maybe what seems spiritual for one person is sitting in meditation, but maybe what the spiritual calling is for another person is art or music, right? That's the space where we see people who've had the same job for 30 years be like, I'm actually leaving accounting and I'm going to start a band. And it's going to be a band that sings about the color blue because I feel like that's vibrationally charged. It's the stuff that seems so insane. It's almost as if at this particular point, the universe has handed back people their 20s, that thing they thought that they could never do or they would starve, right? That super creative space that is a direct connection to joy and spirituality, and said, here, take this out in the world, give your life away in a means of service, and create what you were built to create at a soul level. It's absolutely beautiful. It's such a beautiful, awake time to see that, but it creates a hell of a lot of change that is not just for the individual. That's where we see the revolution getting big. And I think that Trump, whether we like it, we don't like it, is a part of it. And I do truly believe that Hillary's chart was not gonna do it for Uranus. Uranus is like, nope, I need somebody who's a little less afraid to have people be mad at them. I need people to be a little bit more confident and a little bit more arrogant in putting it out there. Now, what that says on a personal level for his own chart, you know, if we don't lean into that humility energy, if we don't lean into that service-minded energy, we all set ourselves up to take a tumble and take a fall. So looking at this situation, I think that there were many little mini catalysts that happened, but Comey was the destiny catalyst that definitely put President Trump in a place where now he's about to get significantly different, and it's going to happen really, really quickly. But I definitely think by the time we close out September 2017, we see President Donald Trump in a much different position and in a much different light than we are seeing him right now. Hi, Brandy. I see you guys out there. I'm so excited I can even see you. I've been trying to figure out this live chat like all day. And one point I took a phone call and I was like, oh God, I'm live. So, you know, hopefully, like our president, you're out there learning some really new stuff that challenges the hell out of you, because we can say that, right? Human to human. We can look at Donald Trump and say, yep, arrogance will chap your ass every single time. But we also know that what this man is doing, just like the rest of us, is learning the lessons that his chart is built for. He's just doing it in a very, very public way. So I do, in that sense, you can tell I have a Mars in Libra. In that sense, I do think that regardless of whether we like it, we don't like it, whether you're American, you're not American, that is a human being up there, and we need to pray. We need to have compassion for him. We need to ask for guidance for him, right? Because whatever he does, he's going to be walking us into it with him. So in some way, shape, or form, we got to be like, hey, did you get any of those destiny lessons? Because we'd like for you not to, get us killed. That would be phenomenal. Love you learning your life lessons. Don't want to go with you. So, interesting times, you guys. And I encourage each of you, whether you study astrology and you know it very well, or you don't, or you follow tarot, or whatever, numerology, because they're all the numerology behind this. Whatever that looks like for you, I encourage you, follow this. Follow the transits. Listen to what people are saying so that you can watch this play out, because when we close out September 2017, we're going to see some different ish, because Mercury is going to be like, it's time to change our minds. And there's going to be some other shifts down there as well. Yes, the plug has been pulled, and now we will see some back-to-back. But you know what else? Oh my gosh, how did I not even touch on this? all of this magic that's been happening, what has it done in the world? Immediately to form this new kind of world order, the higher vibration, the raised vibration, what did we have to tap into? Feminine energy. We've seen women coming up all over the place, and no shade to my men, no shade to my male energies out there at all. You know I love you, like I probably love you too much. So, but we've seen women really come up, they step into their power. It is almost like they grab their lady balls and step up and go, guess what, hear me roar, there's some stuff I want to do. I don't want to be in this marriage, I don't want to be pining over this thing anymore, I don't want to be afraid of my career, I want to do my own thing, I want to speak up. And we have seen, did we not just watch a woman take the stage, tell the truth about everything that was going on and completely shut this dude down? Yeah, we did. And it was pretty impressive, kind of, wasn't it? So, I could just get so hyped. Yes, lady balls. You got to grab your lady balls sometimes and get to it. You know what I'm saying? I love you guys so much. So much. So, all right, guys. I'm going to end this chat. This has been amazing, but it is literally like 11:07 p.m. over here, and I am ready for some sleeping. So I love you guys very much. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for being patient with me while I learn. Let's see. Really quickly, I'm going to answer 2 questions. Brandy, what question do you have? Oh, yeah, that would be amazing. I would love for Melania to get a divorce. That's not because it's President Trump. It's just there's some shade there. You know what I'm saying? There's just some shade. But you know what? At the same time, I think to myself, she chose that, right? Like she's over there because she wants to be. And when she doesn't want to be, or when some things change, she will shift as well. So, we'll wait and see about that. But the video where she's like, that was very good. I was like, Melania, I can't with you right now, homegirl. All right. I'm looking for the question. So I know somebody had a question. I'm waiting for this one question. Come through, question, come through. Oh, Brandy, I don't know that. I haven't seen your chart. I thought you were going to ask me something about this. I would have to see your chart to be able to make any kind of assessment on that. That would be like calling a doctor at a 7-Eleven and saying, this happened, what do I have? It's the same thing. In astrology, I would not dare to make any kind of assessment about what is going on in your life without actually having time to look over the chart and then make some kind of thorough interpretation, as well as get any channeled energy that comes through for me. Will Trump remain president? I do, from the channeled energy that I get, the vision that I see is that he will not remain president. More so, he will not remain the same president. Now, I do think that this is something that will be cut short in one way or another, and I said that in the short videos I did as the election was wrapping up. I do not think that this president that we have will be here for very long. What is that? What does that look like? I don't know. I'm not the divine energy here, but I don't think that he will be there for the entire 4 years, one way or another. And you are absolutely right. Trend, educational resources. No, that's not my circus. That's not my monkey. I'm telling you what, they chose that. I'm good. I think that, how will the August eclipse affect Aries? I hear that April 8th Aries. The differing degrees of Aries, the differing by the dates, some people really study that as being significantly different, and I know that there are people who are actually, that's their niche. They study the differences in these significant times of different signs and things like that. That's not something that I feel necessarily prone to. But the way the eclipse is going to affect you is that you're going to have to speak up. If you're in Aries, by the time we start to have these eclipses, you're going to have to acknowledge the fact that joy has got to rule your life, and the things in your life that are not bringing you joy, you're going to need to make adjustments for that. you're not in the space and the place anymore. You're a different person. You're a different human being. I mean, you're literally being rewired, recreated from a spiritual sense right now that's going to set you up to live differently. And if you're still trying to be the old version of yourself, you're going to find life getting more and more complicated. And by the time we get to, the end of the year, you will find that your problems have piled up on you and they become astonishingly difficult to solve. And you'll feel this internal cry, I think, that says, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So that's a very, general view of what that will look like. So, all right. I love you guys. I am really getting off of the live chat now. And you know what? It's actually very good that I don't really know what I'm doing, because I actually didn't know how to get out a minute ago. All right, guys. I love you so much. I'm going to end this stream. I'm sending you lots of love and thank you for the support. Bye, guys.